Welcome to Doreau's Steps Towards Resilience presentation. This is part one in the lead up to delivering the Doreau's Building Resilience course. I thought I'd do a number of short introductions to the concept of resilience and the underpinning theories. So first of all, welcome, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a sort of context for this session. Introductions, I'll introduce myself and what this is all about through purpose and setting some objectives. I'm going to show you a little visual to help with understanding positive mental health and talk a little bit about definition of resilience, and then the links between positive mental health and resilience, so how those two things sit together. And then I'll talk a bit about the Building Resilience course that I'm about to deliver, and a brief overview of Doreau services and links. So my name is Sabrina and I'm a development coach and educator amongst a variety of other things. So my professional experience, I started as a peer educator back in the late 90s. Since that time, I have built my skills. I've invested quite heavily, doing additional qualifications so that I understand the support and learning needs of people I work with. So I've done lots of mental health support, and I'm actually a mental health first aider. That kind of work and cognitive behaviour work is really important to me, so it's something I maintain. And in my personal experience, for those of you who don't know, our family journey has been quite challenging, especially in the last over the last 6 years. So our experiences have enabled us to share and hopefully aid other families, which is part of the purpose of this course. And there's a YouTube video which you're welcome to go and find our YouTube channel and have a look at that, which gives you a little bit more background as to why resilience is such a key thing for us. So purpose. The purpose for us to do a course like this is really about responding to a need that we have been aware of within our friends, our community and wider society. We're all becoming a lot more aware of our responsibility and our role with supporting children, young people and loved ones, community. None of us are an island. We all need to be able to work together, so that collective support is part of the driving force of what we do at Doreau's, especially in relation to mental health, emotional well-being and communication. Communication is really fundamental to how we manage our mental health and our emotional well-being, for ourselves personally, but also how we support others to do the same. So our response has been to develop an introductory course for resilience skills, which is aimed at being very accessible and very inclusive. We'll provide the tools and resources to support the training that we're delivering, so you'll have a full package that you can take away and use and revisit. So creating these kinds of opportunities, particularly for parents, as a parent myself and as a parent carer, it's about equipping other parents to help them manage the challenges, because parenting is very uncertain at the best of times, but particularly under current circumstances. So in true teacher style, I have a few learning outcomes or objectives for this session. One is about understanding positive mental health. The second one is a little bit of discussion about what resilience actually is and what it means. And then the links between the two, because, well, you'll see, it will make sense. So first of all, I'd like to start off with this quote by a guy called Ado. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I just saw this quote and thought it sounded absolutely ideal for the point I'm trying to make with regards to how we think about our brains. So he says, the mind is just like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets and the more it can expand. So in terms of how we think about our mind, how we think about thinking, I think it's, one of those key factors that we potentially overlook quite often, in that, do you treat your brain like a muscle? Do you exercise it the way you would other muscles in your body? Do you feed and nurture it? What kind of actions do you take to ensure that you're keeping your brain healthy? What we consume in terms of what we put into our brain, the thoughts and the stimulus that we put into our brain. I don't know if you saw, we did an event recently about social media, how much screen time we have and how that affects our mental health. All of these things that we consume have an impact on our brains and on our mental health. So it's just really, like I say, a food for thought, something to help us start thinking about how we think. So positive mental health is something that's been spoken about a lot currently. And I found this visual online. If you go to Worth It Positive Education and search for positive mental health toolkit, you should be able to find this image. It doesn't belong to me at all. I just found it absolutely ideal for helping visualize the key aspects of what mental health really is about and what we can do to build positive mental health. So there's a number of items here which factors are all quite broad, and they'll mean slightly different things to different people, but I feel it's great visual focus. So the key areas identified here are self-awareness, social skills and asking for help, being kind to ourselves and others, so that's about empathy and self-care, positive coping strategies, which links really closely to the resilient stuff that I'm going to talk about in a minute, flexible thinking and problem solving, setting and achieving goals, noticing the good things, aka optimism and positive mental attitude and all those kinds of things. So the way we engage with the world has a massive impact. Our perspective on ourselves and our place amongst the people, in our family, in our community, in the wider society. All these things affect our mental health, and I really do think this little visual helps us understand that a little bit better. So then, what is resilience? This definition is not the definition. There'll be definitions in the dictionary which you can go and check out. But resilience basically means to spring back. So the DeRose version of the definition is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and challenges. Personal resilience is built on several factors: our environment, our experiences, the ways we think, and our view of the world. It's impossible to completely avoid adversity. So building resilience is the way to prepare and manage future problems. Personal resilience is closely linked to emotional intelligence and self-awareness. So when we realise the list we just looked at with regards to the mental health, positive mental health, and then we're looking at emotional intelligence and self-awareness, there's some overlap between positive mental health and resilience. Which leads us on to the domains of resilience. So this is a little infographic from the actual Building Resilience course, which I'll be delivering soon. Domains of resilience, we're looking at education and learning, secure foundations, which means having that really secure sort of support structure behind you, something you can fall back on, whether it's your family, your friends, whatever that means to you, having secure foundations. A really good way of looking at that would be to consider Maslow's hierarchy. If you don't know about it, if you go onto the website, the DeRoseconsultancy.com website, we do have an article about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The secure foundations aspect really links closely to that, so that would help you if you need some support with that one. Social understanding, it's about how we interact with others in a wider context, and then you've got friendships and connections, which is the more personal version. Two parts of the same skill, really. Positive values, and then interests and potential, which links to self-awareness. It's about knowing yourself, your personal interests, your potential for achieving certain things. So you can see these all link quite closely back to the positive mental health toolkit. So the two, when we see them alongside each other, we can see there's quite a few similarities between them. And, we can identify that to have positive mental health, we need these certain skills, which also will build resilience, because the two things are not necessarily identical, but very, very closely linked. Building resilience skills will help us manage our mental health. And that's kind of the importance. If you're a particularly resilient person, you generally have good coping strategies, which means you generally have good mental health. That's not to say 100% of the time. That's not to say 100% great mental health all the time. Everyone will have dips, pitfalls, challenges, times where it's not 100%. But the more skilled we can become at managing our resilience, we can generally stave off the worst of those kind of mental health challenges when we're struggling. You struggle a little bit less because you have those coping mechanisms in place. So the Building Resilience course is a kind of 6 live sessions delivered online. It's aimed at supporting parents and also educators or support workers and other family members in how we build resilience in our children and in a wider scale. So you can find out more information on the website. I'll give you the link towards the end. The course is very much skills focused. It's very much about practical skills and things that are useful to improve resilience for yourself, your children and your family. So it's kind of lots of little bits and pieces you can implement, which they'll also be able to adapt to suit the needs of your family and how you do things. Currently, the course has been offered at a discounted price of £150. So there's a lot of content for that. We look at cognitive behaviour approaches as one of the sort of underpinning theories behind the course. I take you through all of that. There's a number of different resources which are all part of, you get as part of the course, part of that price. So yeah, there's a lot of content, which is why I'm doing these little bit of extra videos, presentations, just to give people a bit of a taste of what it's about and a bit of a running start at it, really. So the website is deroseconsultancy.com and then /building-resilience will get you to the web page where we talk specifically about the content of the Building Resilience course. You should be able to find out everything you need to know there. If not, complete the contact us form, ask me any questions. But yeah, you can sign up for the entire course on the web page or just message me wherever you've seen this video.